Well, hi guys, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. Bit of a project this morning. It's New Year's Day. It's pretty warm and there's not much happening. It's like Sunday afternoon here. A bit sleepy. I got the day off. I'm back at work tomorrow. But there's a project that I've been looking at doing something about for a little while. And what I'd like is a nice little self-contained brazing hearth. I've always sort of thought that'd be a nice thing to have, and I had other ways, or I had other ideas about making it for a while, and this is what I come up with. I bought some fabrics, which are lightweight. No idea what they're made out of. They come off eBay. They were pretty cheap. I think they were like 35 bucks for 10. And I've got some perf metal, which is about 1.6. And what I thought I'd do is mark this out and cut the corners out nice, and fold it up into a tray. Put some legs on it so there's room for the scriber to roll underneath. And set up those bricks in it. Might have to cut a couple to size. And have a nice little self-contained brazing and soldering tray that... Did I say soldering? No, I didn't. It's an American way of saying it. It's soldering here in Australia. Nice little brazing and soldering tray for projects. So let's get started. These are odd size for some reason. They're different both ways. And also particularly good for standing things up in the corner to position things. If we have a look with the rule, this is 290 by 230, so I'm going to leave about 1 millimetre if I can, just to give it a little bit of room to go in there. So I've taken a bit of time to cut these corners out. I've just marked it. I've measured the distance inside there and worked out that it needs to be... Look, the sheet I've got is 300 by 381. That's the guy posts them out that size because it's what fits in a post bag, I guess. The bricks overall are 291 by 231, so that means we've got to fold 34 millimeters on this side here and 45 on this side. If we do this the right way round, this will fit in my pan brake. Bend these ones up first, the short ones, and then we're going to take some fingers out and get them the right distance apart and bend the others. So that's the next job. So we've got that somewhere near where it needs to be. And there's the second one. So we've got them folded up. The other sides are next, but we're going to have to move these jaws. So loosen some of these screws off and move them along so that it clears here and here. Probably take one of the really short ones out and we'll bend the other two. So I ended up folding that up okay. It's okay is probably the best way of putting it. It's nice and square, it's reasonably flat. The issue I had with these is that the jaws aren't long enough for this to come past, so I had to bend them up in the vise with a hammer, and they're not too bad. This is awful stuff to bend anyway because it wants to bend in the weak point rather than where it's strong. And the lines were marked out along the metal, and if I'd bent them in the brake press they would have been okay, but anyway, that's sorted out. And they pretty well fit in there, which is not a bad effort. I think last job is to cut that one off to 85mm long to fit in there. We get that nice and square. This stuff just cuts with an ordinary handsaw. It's pretty soft, like cutting polystyrene foam nearly. It's funny stuff. I would imagine that a dust mask is a really good idea, so I've got one of them. I'm just going to trim that down there and give him a sand up with the electric sander and put him in there. So we might do that next. So that's what we've got. This is a bit dangerous sticking up here and I don't like that much. I'm probably going to file that down to match. It's not a huge deal if I get in and did it. There's although just those little short bits sticking up. Trim that out of there. Now it needs some legs or something for a couple of reasons. One is you need to be able to pick it up. And second is that it needs something on it to stop it rocking, because I put a bit of a cross brake in there to give it a bit of strength. So I saved these bits and I thought maybe I'll just bend these into like a top hatch section and solder under there, or weld under there. Don't think they're big enough. I've got a bit of 3mm flat that might work, but more likely I'm just going to turn something. If I get a bit of aluminium, I've got a bit of, I think I've got some 20mm aluminium there, so we might just turn some legs for that and put a screw in them. Let's have a think about that. Anyway, I found some timber. It's about 30mm square pine, just offcuts, and I've cut a couple of bits and screwed in there, just with some little countersink screws. And that sits nice and neat and firm on the bench. If we put all this together, that's looking pretty good. Other thing I found is just a bit of aluminium, because it's a fairly big job to chop that off there, and I guess it's a design fault. But if we put that in there like that, it takes the sharp edge off and it gives it a bit of a shelf to stop things rolling off. So there we go, guys. There's a brazing hearth. Looks like a fairly useful thing. It's something I've wanted for a long time. It's just the thing, I think. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and click the like button, all that sort of stuff. And Christmas is nearly over and the new year, so the rush is almost over, so more soon. Thanks, guys.